Did you know that angels are always by your side? They are guardians sent by God to protect and guide us at all times in our lives. Sometimes, these divine messengers leave small signs to strengthen our faith and remind us that we are never alone. In today's video, we will discover 7 signs that indicate when an angel is near us. Knowing how to recognize these signs can bring comfort and courage in difficult times. Angels are sent to help us, bringing solutions to solve problems and even messages from God. Many times, angels appear in our lives disguised as ordinary people. It could be that person sitting next to you in a park, a lady asking for information, or a stranger who appears at the right moment. So do not underestimate the signs. They can indicate a divine presence that is protecting and guiding you. Have you ever had a feeling of an invisible presence by your side? Something that you cannot see, but that seems to be there, watching over you, guiding your every step? And if this feeling means the presence of an angel near you, you may already be experiencing these signs without realizing it. Pay attention to the 7 signs that reveal the presence of an angel. Let's take the first one. One of these powerful signs is the sensation of sudden warmth, especially during moments of prayer. Many people report this experience as a divine confirmation, as if the angel were beside them, transmitting peace and comfort. When we speak of the presence of angels, we are not talking about distant beings, but messengers who approach us in a subtle and profound way. This warmth that you feel may be your body becoming more receptive to this presence. This phenomenon, which may begin in the hands, feet, or even spread throughout the body, does not happen all the time, but tends to arise in moments of deep prayer, meditation, or spiritual search. It may be a response that you're being recognized as something beyond the physiological explanation, a sign that angels are near. In spiritual tradition and in the scriptures, angels are described as beings of fire. The Bible mentions that God makes angels spirits and flames of fire. Perhaps the warmth you feel is a manifestation of this element that they carry within them, especially in those moments when we open ourselves to God with a sincere heart. Think of the angels who guarded the Garden of Eden with flaming swords, or the pillar of fire that guided the Israelites at night in the desert. The warmth you feel may well symbolize this divine protection and guidance. Now, it is important to understand that the presence of an angel does not depend on you feeling this warmth or any other physical sensation. They are always by our side, even when we do not realize it. However, at special times, God may allow us to feel the presence of angels in a more tangible way, to encourage, strengthen, or comfort us. Interestingly, this heat can also be linked to the process of spiritual purification, a sign that something within us is being renewed and strengthened. Even if you don't feel this physical sensation, remember that the angels are with you, protecting and guiding you silently. Have you ever heard of the vision that the prophet Isaiah had in the temple? When he came face to face with God's presence, he became aware of his imperfections, and an angel touched his lips with a burning coal, purifying him and preparing him for the mission that God had for him. Perhaps the heat that you feel during prayer is something similar, a process of purification where your soul is strengthened to receive more blessings from God. At that moment, it is as if your spirit is more elevated, ready to hear the divine voice and face the spiritual battles that arise. This heat that appears during prayer or worship is not an isolated phenomenon. It is part of something greater, an invitation for you to open yourself more to the divine presence and delve deeper into spiritual reality. Sometimes this heat is just the beginning of something great that God wants to do in your life, a sign that you are reaching an intense spiritual sensitivity where your connection with the divine is stronger. The Bible mentions the story of Elisha who, when surrounded by an enemy army, his servant was terrified, seeing only the threat. So Elisha prayed and asked God to open the servant's eyes so that he could see the spiritual reality. At that moment, the servant had his vision expanded and was able to see around Elisha a heavenly army, chariots of fire and angels protecting them. This passage reminds us that even when everything seems unfavorable, there is divine protection by our side, an invisible force that supports us and takes care of us in times of danger. In the same way, when you feel this heat during prayer, it is as if your spiritual eyes are opened, showing that the heavenly forces are there, protecting and guiding you. In those moments when you feel the heat, do not get distracted by trying to understand everything rationally. Keep praying, keep worshiping, because this is a sign that God is leading you into a deeper communion. This warmth serves to remind you that you are in direct contact with the divine, that the angels are by your side, bringing you the strength and courage you need to move forward. The presence of the angels, manifested in this warmth, has a clear purpose: to strengthen your faith and remind you that God is with you, taking care of every detail. Sometimes we need this confirmation, this divine touch, to renew our trust in God and gain courage to face challenges. So, the next time you feel this warmth, remember that it is a moment of grace, an instant when heaven is closer. Take advantage of this opportunity to surrender even more to the divine presence, knowing that the angels are guiding you and bringing you closer to the plan that God has for your life. In moments of exhaustion, when it seems that our strength has run out, something extraordinary can happen. A sudden surge of energy emerges, allowing us to continue, even when we think we cannot. This strength is not simply physical or emotional. It is supernatural. This kind of strength that emerges in the most difficult moments is perhaps a sign of the presence of an angel by your side, giving you the support you need to face what lies ahead. In moments of weakness, always remember that you are not alone. In a passage from the Bible, the prophet Elijah, in a moment of despair, fleeing for his life, reached his physical and emotional limit. He asked God to take his life, feeling that he could no longer go on. But God sent an angel who offered him food and water. This angelic gesture was so powerful that it renewed his strength, allowing him to continue his journey for 40 days and nights to Mount Horeb, where he had a profound encounter with God. These stories are not just accounts of the past. They show a spiritual truth that still happens today. In moments when we feel on the verge of collapse, when everything seems lost, it is precisely then that we often receive a strength that we do not know where it comes from or how to explain, something that goes beyond our understanding. It could be the presence of an angel that God sent to support us, a help that does not come from our own efforts, but from divine grace acting through his messengers. Perhaps you have already experienced something like this without realizing it. Have you ever felt an unexpected strength in a moment of extreme fatigue? An impulse that made you continue even when you thought you had no strength left? This can be more than a coincidence or a simple act of will. This type of strength is a gift, a sign that an angel may be by your side, giving you the support you need to face that difficult moment. Feeling this supernatural strength in times of weakness is a gift from God. It is not something we can control or force. It comes at the right time when God, in his wisdom, knows that we need an extra push to continue. The Bible teaches us that there are limits to our human strength, but that God, through his angels, can give us the ability to overcome those limits. This strength can manifest itself in many ways. Sometimes it is a renewed physical energy, as happened with Elijah, but at other times it can be an emotional or spiritual strength, an unexpected courage to face something that previously frightened us, or an inner peace that helps us persevere in the face of adversity. The strength that comes from angels is not meant to keep us away from challenges, but rather to give us the courage and determination to face them, reminding us that we are not alone. So the next time you feel extremely exhausted, pay attention. If a surge of inexplicable strength comes over you, consider the possibility that an angel is with you, strengthening you for what is to come. And when we talk about the presence of angels, one of the most fascinating signs that many people report is the vision of an intense and brilliant light. These visions, often unexpected and occurring during moments of prayer or deep meditation, may indicate that an angel is present. These manifestations of light are not just natural phenomena. They are reflections of the celestial nature of these beings, who are described in the scriptures as spirits of light and messengers of God. A well-known example is the story of Saul, who later became the Apostle Paul. On the road to Damascus, while he was on his way to persecute the Christians, he was surrounded by an intense light that left him temporarily blind. At that moment, Saul heard the voice of Jesus, and this experience changed his life forever. This light was not a simple phenomenon. It was the presence of Christ, accompanied by his heavenly messengers, changing the course of Saul's life. These signs serve as a reminder that God never abandons us. In the most difficult moments, He is present and often uses His angels to strengthen us and give us the support we need. Even when our strength is exhausted, God continues to be our source of power and renewal. In His grace, He sends His angels to strengthen us, reminding us that He is always by our side. Another striking example is that of Moses, who climbed Mount Sinai to be in the presence of God and receive commandments. The glory of the Lord was so intense that when Moses came down, his face shone so brightly that the Israelites could barely look at him. He was touched by the divine light, which was evident on his face. This brightness shows that often the presence of God and the angels is revealed in a visible way, as a light that illuminates and transforms. These biblical accounts show us that light is a powerful symbol of the heavenly presence. The angels, described as beings of light, live constantly in the presence of God, who is light itself. Sometimes this light manifests itself to us physically, either as a sudden burst or a subtle glow seen in passing. These signs should not be dismissed as mere tricks of the eye. They can be signs of something greater happening in the spiritual realm. When you find yourself in moments of deep prayer, meditation, or inner reflection, you may notice these bursts of light. It is as if, in these moments, the barrier between the physical and spiritual worlds becomes thinner, allowing us to glimpse a little of what lies beyond. God allows these signs to appear not to frighten us, but to remind us that He is near and that His angels are with us, protecting and guiding us. It is worth remembering that these visions of light are not common to everyone, and this does not mean that those who do not see them are less spiritually connected. The presence of God and His angels is constant, whether we realize it or not. In special moments, God may grant us these signs as an encouragement, a proof that He is by our side, even when we cannot otherwise see or feel His presence. These lights also often appear at times of great decision or change, as happened to Saul, whose life was transformed after seeing the light on the road to Damascus. Perhaps you are at an important point in your life, and this light is a sign that God is guiding you towards something new. These experiences can be a wake-up call for you to draw even closer to God, opening yourself up to a deeper spiritual connection. Just as Moses was called when he saw the light in the burning bush, these visions can be a sign that God is calling you to something more significant, and the angels are there to make sure you are on the right path. So if you ever notice these bursts of light, don't ignore them. Consider that it may be a gentle reminder that the spiritual world is real and present in your life. Angels are always nearby, and sometimes God allows us to see their presence to strengthen our faith and give us courage. Take this time to open your heart, thank them for their protection, and ask that God continue to guide you through His heavenly messengers. Just as the light of Jesus' transfiguration shone brightly on the mountain, these lights you see can be a sign of divine presence, showing us that God and His angels are ready to illuminate our path, even when everything around us seems dark. Another common experience during moments of deep prayer or worship is the sensation of a slight tingling or chill, something that many describe as an energy running through the body. This can be a reflection of spiritual activity in the environment, and a sign that angels are present, influencing the spiritual atmosphere of that moment. Our body, limited as it may be, reacts to something that our spiritual mind already perceives. When we are connected to the spiritual, it is as if our physical senses respond to what is beyond the visible. Think about what the Bible says about angels. They are messengers sent by God to serve us in times of need, to protect, guide, and strengthen us. They are constantly active, even if we cannot see them. When their presence is strong, our body can react, as if it feels that presence in an almost tangible way. This tingling sensation can be a way of perceiving that the spiritual environment is influenced by the presence of God's angels. This sensation does not indicate something strange or dangerous. Often, it is a sign that God is answering your prayers, and the angels are around you to ensure that you are protected or to reveal something important from the spiritual world. The Bible teaches us that angels are always with us, acting on our behalf, and that tingling or chilling sensation can be a way for our mind to capture that presence. An example that illustrates this idea well is the story of Jacob, in Genesis. As he fell asleep, he had a vision of angels ascending and descending a ladder that connected heaven to earth. When he woke up, he began to see that place in a new way, realizing that he was in a sacred space. Jacob did not mention feeling chills, but he had a revelation that something special was happening in that place. In the same way, when you feel a tingling sensation, it is as if your mind is touching this spiritual reality. It is a reminder that even if our physical eyes do not see it, something is happening. Angels sent by God may be working to protect us, bring us comfort, or even deliver us from spiritual dangers. So, if you feel that chill, there is no need to change your prayer or try to understand what is happening. Just stay focused on God, trusting that the angels are by your side, listening to your prayers and interceding for you. Often, this feeling appears when we are more connected to God, as a confirmation that He is listening to our prayers and that we are in tune with the spiritual. It is important to remember that this feeling is not the end goal, but a sign that our spirit is more sensitive to what God is doing. At other times, while we are in prayer or worship, we may feel a deep joy and an inexplicable peace invade our hearts. This feeling is not just an emotion, but a sign that something spiritual is happening. Often, it is the presence of the angels that ministers to us, lifting us to a state of tranquility and comfort that goes beyond our circumstances. Perhaps you began your prayer with concerns, but as you surrender to God's presence, this peace fills your being and everything seems to be in harmony. In the Bible, we often see angels bringing messages of joy and peace, as in the announcement of the birth of Jesus to the shepherds. The angel brought news that filled the hearts of those men with extraordinary peace. Likewise, when we feel this unusual joy during prayer, it is as if we are in tune with the message of the angels. They not only protect and guide us, but they also bring comfort and help us see that, despite the challenges, everything will be fine because God is taking care of everything. What you feel during prayer, whether it is unexpected peace, deep joy, or even a gentle breeze, can be subtle signs that the spiritual world is closer to you than you imagine. The Bible shows us that angels are always at work, bringing comfort and helping us face our challenges with a renewed perspective. In Psalm 16, for example, it is written, "In His presence there is fullness of joy." When we enter into prayer, it is as if we are immersed in this state of fullness, where fears and anxieties lose ground. What about the gift of speaking in tongues? Some people feel such an intense connection with the divine that ordinary language is no longer enough to express what they are feeling. It is as if the angels were there, facilitating a more direct communication with God. At this moment, the Holy Spirit intervenes, allowing an expression that goes beyond human words, a language of the angels that, according to Paul, is a spiritual language. You feel like you are in tune with something much greater, on a level where your heart speaks directly to God, without the limitations of language. This form of prayer is a deep and intense experience that occurs when your connection with the divine is so strong that it feels natural to pray in an unknown language. It is not something we control or plan, but a gift that God gives us when we open our hearts to more intimate communication. And yes, the angels are present, helping you reach this spiritual depth, transmitting peace and protection as you surrender to this experience. There's also that moment when, in the middle of prayer, you feel a light breeze touching your skin. It may seem like a simple detail, but it could be a sign of an angel's presence, especially when we are seeking comfort. God, in His infinite mercy, reaches out to us through His angels, bringing peace and protection in our most difficult hours. Often, the presence of angels manifests itself in a serene way, like a light touch that fills us with calm and confidence. If you have ever experienced a moment like this, perhaps in prayer or in deep silence, and felt this special breeze, allow yourself to recognize that it could be a sign that God is near. It is as if heaven itself is sending a message of hope, a reassurance that you do not face your challenges alone. This presence of angels is subtle and serene, but powerful, a reminder that, even in difficult times, there is a greater force at our side. So when you pray and feel an inexplicable joy or comfort, open your heart and give thanks for this gift. These touches of the divine mean that God is with us, acting through his angels to bring us peace and protection. I hope you enjoyed the video. Share with others so they can also benefit from this message, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive our new content about spirituality. May God bless your life. See you soon.